a day of technical difficulties and shit blowing up in my face. I almost thought I shouldn't come in. Hello, you lovely individuals out there listening. I am the one and only Teej, and I am coming to you live from the Jack and Joe Stranger Studio, part of the Electronic Media Division at the CC of M. Fantastic. How are you doing? Hello out there. Oh boy, just trying to get some more energy flowing, that sort of thing. I'm going to get into those technical difficulties in a little bit, but I have some sort of continuity bits that I'd like to bring up at this moment right now, which has to do with the fact that the last time we met up here, I mentioned that I was going to be going on an outing with Terry, and he really pissed me off. I cannot believe the kind of stunt that he pulled right here. And for those of you listening right there who don't know who I'm talking about, I am talking about my producer who's staring at me through the glass right now and giving me such a stink eye that it's lovely. No, of course he's not going to say anything, to refute anything that I say right now on air because Terry doesn't want to be a part of the show. I give him the option every single time, but he never wants to join in. But let me tell you something about Terry here. Is that we were looking to shoot some video, some B-roll footage, just to, show that we know how to shoot video. And that's going to be one of the assignments, and I, of course, got assigned with Terry, and so we're going to have to do this together. And we're scouting out some spots to do some shots and everything right there, and I found out that Terry is not the outdoorsman, as you'd, assume that he was, of course, just the way that he looks and all that sort of thing. Yeah, if you wear camo shorts that are cargo pants as well, I'm thinking it's one of those things where you kind of expect them to be a little bit outdoorsy, but I know that it's just a huge lie that capitalism has tried to tell us throughout the process of trying to market Old Navy, and that's another thing entirely. Fact of the matter is, Terry really, he was winded from the hike and, just was like, oh my god, we're in the wilderness. And we were just in Burnett Woods, okay? We weren't anywhere out there exotic or, actually, don't get me wrong, Burnett Woods is awesome, but it doesn't bring the excitement as, the final frontier of Alaska or NorCal or hell, just actual, national forest of some kind. You don't get out much, do you, Terry? Always cooped up in your office doing God knows what. I tell you, he's a total creep, honestly. Yeah, so, dragging his ass up and down these hills, trying to, this looks a good spot, and then it's Terry going, no, it's not a good spot, and it's just, that whole argument going along right there. And so I started, getting a bit of footage of Terry whining for the whole time, I thought that'd be fun to share with you for the show, right? That sort of thing right there. I was planning ahead, and you wouldn't believe what he did. He went ahead and erased it. He got rid of all of it. And I'm like, seriously, man? This would have been great. It would have been a great opportunity to show, us outside of the formal studio atmosphere, when we're not putting up an act. Or, I guess you never really do anything, so that doesn't really help you out. You'd be involved somehow. I mean, goddamn, it's been a year and a half now since you've been on the show, and you still refuse to be a part of it. And it hurts. Seriously, man. What the hell? I'm not gonna get actually that worked up about it, honestly. It all works out for the best, because then I don't have to do any of his dumbass ideas. Enough of that. Let's go on to a better topic, like prison rape or midterms. Yeah, midterms works out just as well. Midterms are around, and for those of you who are students out there, you may still be cramming, some sort of ungodly class that's on a Friday, which I do have one of those, but thankfully, I don't have any tests in there and that sort of bit right there. But midterms came around, and I'm sure it's knocked us all on our ass, and so we're all looking forward to the break that we have next week and that sort of bit right there. But it's good that we're all trying to keep sane, and I think this is the perfect atmosphere in order to just do that. And that being said, we are going to move on to technical difficulties, because this does have to be explained to everyone out there. I love to do some pre-recorded stuff, for the show and be able to do some really goofy things in that sort of sense right there, but almost everything in the world has gone against me in order to do that this time, and unfortunately, I've already played all of my pre-recorded material for this show tonight. It had to do with the fact that I got locked out of the studio for a while, and I wasn't able to get that to work. Terry stole my script and then started running around like a ninny. And I wasn't able to catch up with him. He dove in his office, locked the door, and so I wasn't able to do that, which I don't know what was up with you earlier, man. If that was caffeine, if that was sugar, if that was something else. I don't know. I'm not implying anything in particular. I'm just asking you to provide me with an answer. But seriously, he was acting crazy right there. So I didn't even get to do our endorsement for the show. We didn't get to do our sponsorship. So this show is currently unsponsored. And so, Terry, I don't know if you have a solution to that at all or anything like that. But I guess the one thing that I can do with this experience right here is that we can discuss, some of the importance of media. Because with not having, much pre-recorded material, I didn't have to edit nearly as much. And so that gave me some time, or unfortunately gave me some time to play around with some things. And so that pre-recorded thing that you heard in the beginning, there was a bit of an ominous atmosphere, and I would like to illustrate the importance of music or a score or, some sort of sound in the background to sort of illustrate or reinforce the spoken dialogue in the foreground. And so that being said, I would like to show you an example of that exact same clip, only paired to different music, and I think it'll kind of prove the effectiveness of it, honestly. So we're going to go ahead and jump into there right here. This track that I'm about to play, it's called Feel an Evil Thing Watching Me, which I've gone about and tried to find some really awesome royalty-free music because it really helps, illustrate these kind of ideas, these creepy tones and that sort of thing right there. And with a title like that, it's just got to be good. And so I'm going to go ahead and give you an example of what that same sort of voiceover was to different music. And you've probably heard this track before.
There's a stranger that hides in the shadows, lying perplexively close to the streetlights. Nothing distinguishing. No more details than you need to know its presence. In this moment, you cease your pace and share eye contact. You presume. The stranger makes no move.
See, still straight up ominous and that sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like, everything's kind of creepy, and you get that feeling just, crawling at the back of your neck right there, because, what I'm saying is a little bit strange, but at the same time, we have something to reaffirm that. We got that score right there. Now, to illustrate how that can possibly just blow up in your face and it doesn't work entirely at all, it's kind of amazing how silly it sounds when you pair it to a lighthearted tune.
There's a stranger that hides in the shadows, lying perplexively close to the streetlights. Nothing distinguishing. No more details than you need to know its presence. In this moment, you cease your pace and share eye contact.
There's nothing terrifying about that at all, and it has nothing to do with I said anything different whatsoever. It's the exact same bit of audio right there, but of course, you pair it with something else, and it just sounds a little bit lighthearted, a little bit joyful, and that sort of thing. And I mean, sure, it's implied by other things if you truly listen to it, but it's amazing what kind of tone can change in all of that. And so my last example right here is actually something that sounds like some sort of horrible, after-school special or something like that. It's amazing, again, what just the change of music can do to this.
There's a stranger that hides in the shadows, lying perplexively close to the streetlights. Nothing distinguishing.
Oh, you know what that is? No, Terry, you know what that is? It's like when some sort of character in a 90s sitcom is having to do some sort of learning and that sort of bit right there, some sort of growth development. Let's keep an eye on this track right here because I think we could do a skit that would be awesome to that. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to kick it over some music because we got some new stuff, and one track in particular that I've been wanting to play for such a long time, a personal favorite of mine from Mr. Bowie. Here's Fashion.